You want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about sports in the state of Michigan?
You can't handle the truth!
Well, we're giving you the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, the show that provides research and statistics about all the Detroit and Michigan sports teams, whether fans like it or not, and detects, exposes, and reveals actual and hidden facts and truth that the mainstream media doesn't want you to know. No junk, no entertainment, no homerism, no slappiness, no coddling, no pop culture, no conspiracy theories, no opinions, no shilling, and no fluff. Head over to our website, themichigansportstruthpodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter, Periscope, and Instagram at Michigan_Truth, and like and share our verified Facebook page, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast. Also listen to us on Spreaker, CastBox, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts via iTunes, and Spotify. The Michigan Sports Truth Podcast does not represent or defame any of the teams it covers, nor does it represent or compete against any mainstream media in the state of Michigan. It only detects, exposes, and reveals honest, actual, and hidden truth, facts, and statistics about them.
And welcome to another episode of the Independent Edition. I'm Taylor Phillips. Follow me on Twitter, Periscope, and Instagram at DT2Phillips with 2 L's. About over a week ago, we've noticed on Twitter that the Detroit Sports Rag's Jeff Moss had his only remaining account at JeffMoss91 suspended. That's why he told me in a comment on my post in the Detroit Sports Rag Facebook group that he is retired. So now he has 3 suspended Twitter handles, at JeffMossDSR, at DeadSportsRag, and at JeffMoss91. That's a darn shame to us followers. A lot of people that are fans of our teams think that he's a bad guy and wanted man in Detroit, which is why the media in Detroit never mentions him publicly in general. But even though he goes overboard at times, on Twitter especially, he's actually a much better guy than some people think. He has a beautiful wife named Melissa and a good dog named Marlo, which I helped him get 4 years ago up in Manton nearby. He's not a racist. He's not a discriminator. He's verbally a very sane gentleman. Now, he may sound too negative about our teams to the fans and media, but he does so for a reason with concern and attention to detail. Our teams are clearly no good. The Tigers have the worst record in baseball, while Chris Ilitch cares about his own family and facilities instead of that team. The Lions aren't going anywhere with an injured alleged rapist head coach Matt Patricia because they aren't winning games in the preseason, although they don't count. And they finished 6-10 last year. The Red Wings have been a bottom feeder team for the last 3 years, except with Ken Holland as their old general manager. Thankfully, they fired him and replaced him with Steve Yzerman. And the Pistons are just a mediocre franchise with a drunk owner in Tom Gores, who never addresses the backup center position because he coddles Andre Drummond as his only listed center on the roster, just like childish Pistons fans on Twitter always do. So for those that are happy that Jeff Moss is gone, shame on them. I don't have any hopes or wishes for them at all. I don't even feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for Moss.
That one is long gone!
A while prior to this episode, former Tigers ace starting pitcher Justin Verlander, currently with the Houston Astros, requested his current team, the Houston Astros, to block the Detroit Free Press from talking to him because Free Press Tigers beat writer Anthony Fenech was present at Minute Maid Park when he tried to speak with JV. I know the reason for the blocking. Justin Verlander was aware of Anthony Fenech being present. Verlander knows how stupid Anthony Fenech is. Not only does Verlander have his privacy rights like we all do in many ways, Anthony Fenech is such an inept beat writer and confused cat. Fenech has even had a history of sexually harassing a co-worker at Central Michigan Life. He's even had a history of crashing in a PT Cruiser, which I need more information on. He gets a lot of things wrong. At least he criticizes the Tigers and breaks legit news at times, but his bad history is his epitome and will never be erased. Those are all the cases that I have adjourned for this short installment of the Independent Edition. A reminder that the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast is also primetime on Blog Talk Radio under Mancini Sports on the Stables Network. Listen online at blogtalkradio.com/Mancini Sports. And if anyone is interested in sponsoring our primetime edition on the Stables Network, please email our fine producer, Mark Mancini, at mancinisports@yahoo.com. Check out its website, the MichiganSportsTruthPodcast.com. Like its verified Facebook page, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, and follow its Twitter, Periscope, and Instagram at Michigan_Truth. Also, look up the Stables Network's new website, primetimewiththestablesnetwork.com. I'm Taylor Phillips, signing off. Follow me on Twitter, Periscope, and Instagram at DT2Phillips. Thanks very much for listening, downloading, and sharing. And remember, the truth is out there.
ETFN, ta-ta for now.
The Michigan Sports Truth Podcast does not represent or defame any of the teams it covers, nor does it represent or compete against any mainstream media in the state of Michigan. It only detects, exposes, and reveals honest, actual, and hidden truth, facts, and statistics about them.
Transmission complete.